All right, YouTube, do I ever have a treat for you today? We're going inside this one. So if you watch the video on the walking tour of Yarmouth of all the mansions, this one was featured in it. And today, Neil and Michael invited me in to take a peek. So of course, I'm gonna go in and take a peek. All right, so here we are on Collins Street.
The widow of a mariner, her name was Anne Spinney.
Okay.
She was kind of a daddy warbucks. She had lots and lots of cash. And so she hired one of the best builders in the area, a man named Harvey Tedford. And he built this house for her. She hired these two men who were internationally famous for carving the wind goddess on the ship's schooner bows to carve all of her house in floral themes.
Yeah.
So these are oak plates that are all carved by hand in decorative finishes. And then the interior, she did all the principal rooms in floral themes because she was an avid gardener. She ended up by marrying the builder, and they lived here for about 16 or 17 years. And when she died, she left him either $20,000 in cash or the value of the house and its contents, which was $20,000, and he took the house. And then remarried and lived in it for a while. And then it stayed as a private home until 1942, when King George VI sent a representative to the town, and they knocked on this house and that house, and they bought them. The crown, King George VI, bought these two houses and donated them to the war effort. And they became barracks for the Women's Army Corps. And after the war in 46, that one was sold to the town and became one of Canada's first free public libraries. And this one went back to a private home, later converted into an apartment building and restored around 1997 by two previous owners. No, we came in, we were the next owner came in, finished it, I kind of worked with them, and then they sold it to us in 2006.
Okay, because I knew the history on the old library.
Yeah, we've owned that one for 22 years. And
I didn't know it was attached to this one, so that's really neat.
It was owned by the king.
Wow.
And then they were sold back, yeah. But
that's amazing. So today we got a special treat, everybody on YouTube. We're going inside.
Excuse the mess, because the construction outside is kind of bled onto the inside.
I want to take off my shoes.
No.
Here. Wow.
So you can see all the beautiful carvings that the Dome brothers did. This is a dome staircase. The one next door, Mr. Richards, who built that house, also hired the Dome brothers, and they built a dome staircase for him, and it's 2 stories high.
Wow.
So it's pretty grand. But all these beautiful spandrels are all original. All the little clipstones are all carved in floral themes. Every room's a different theme. This is the original parlor mirror that survived the apartment days and all the other stuff that happened to her. This is a Tiffany window, made custom for Miss Spinney, and I contacted Tiffany's in New York and I asked them if they could authenticate the window. They asked me for the address. I gave them the address, and they came back and said the window was made by us for Anne Spinney in 1892, and that's the Tiffany window. Again, survived, and it's extremely valuable. And outside we have a bulletproof piece of glass out there to protect it. And this is the sitting parlor. Right now it's sort of a window repair room, but the beautiful carvings and the woodwork is just spectacular.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No.
The cost.
No.
There's one of the original fireplaces.
Yeah, there were 3 in the house. 2 of them have fireplace wood inserts, and one of them is an open fireplace.
Okay.
And then in here, we use these rooms in the summertime as bedrooms because we have this rented to a corporate user.
Oh, okay.
But this is the dining room. And this is one that has a working fireplace.
Wow.
I don't know if my lights will help you, but...
Oh no, this one actually, it's a pretty good camera on the iPhone 11, so...
The wallpaper in both the hallway and in this room are by a very famous wallpaper designer. His name is Raymond Waits, out of Tennessee, and he's famous for his wallpapers and fabric. This is all reproduction, turn of the century, with an Asian theme, which was very popular during the Victorian era. Yeah, so people traveled.
They had a lot of Asian gardeners that they would bring
Exactly.
in, especially
Well,
next door.
in the town, the horse chestnut trees
Yeah.
came, they're white flowering horse chestnut trees from China. A shipload of them were brought and commissioned for this town. And this neighborhood was decorated with them. And over the years, people moved them, the seedlings, all over the county. But they were purposely purchased for the design of the streetscapes of this neighborhood.
Wow.
So I'm very protective of them, as you can just imagine.
Yeah. Because we had one on our old property too, on Brunswick Street.
Oh, right,
That
right.
got
But
put
that was
there.
moved there. Somebody
Yes.
put it there, right? The kitchen.
Now, back in the day, the kitchens were extremely small.
Well, this kitchen was
little-
actually several rooms.
Yeah.
So there was a hallway here, small kitchen, a pantry, and a scullery, laundry. All that was in these rooms. Now it's a full bath and a pantry.
Yeah.
But this was part of the kitchen setup, and they would have had a big stove that would have been on the chimney here. But this was the design that we all came up with without disturbing the architecture of the room. We were able to build these custom as furniture, because that's what Victorian kitchens were, was they were furniture.
Okay.
And people took them with them. So that's why there's not a lot of kitchens that you see original, because unless it was a built-in, it was personal property.
Because I know kitchens and bathrooms are probably the hardest things when you're buying one of these old homes to fit in and modernize and
Right.
bring up to a
Right.
livable standard.
Right.
Because these homes weren't lived in by normal people. They were extremely wealthy, and they had maids and servants.
That's right.
And it was all background work. So
Right.
the kitchen, the owner would never have stepped foot in.
And if they did, it was just to come in and supervise the staff.
Yeah.
The public would never have been brought into the kitchen. This was utilitarian space, and that was the end of that. In our brick house, and it's a mess, so I'm not going to show it to you right now, but in the kitchen, I assembled 8 historic kitchens. Over my career, I've rescued kitchen parts from kitchens all over the East Coast. And I had carcasses made that held my stained glass windows, and also I have a traditional 1890s kitchen with all 1890s parts. So that's kind of my favorite room in the house. And it took about 8 years to actually build it, because I teamed up with Burridge Campus and brought their senior students in one every semester, and their class project was to help me make one cabinet. So over 8 semesters, I brought a young person in and taught them how to do that work.
Wow.
So the kitchen was actually an educational
Yeah.
opportunity for them. And I got what I really wanted, which is a traditional kitchen for that beautiful house.
Good, because we need those skills here. Because we have
We
so
do.
many beautiful homes,
Yeah.
and now our real estate market is really starting to be noticed. People are realizing these old
Exactly.
homes.
And people rip out windows all the time, and all they need to be is just scraped back. I mean, they peel back the layers of time, and it works perfectly. People will go out and spend a fortune on insert windows, which is tomorrow's landfill.
Yeah.
You know, you can't put a metal or a vinyl window in a wooden frame and think it's going to be okay. It's not going to. It's going to loosen up, and it's going to be tomorrow's landfill. So if your house has its original window systems, you should always try and restore them. And all they have to be is just cleaned down, because then they work beautifully again. And all of our windows were restored in all of my buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now in a lot of the homes, they put like an extra window on the outside just to have that thermal barrier.
Well, the storm window would have been appropriate, because
Yes.
insulation is all about the gradual increase in temperature.
Yeah.
So if it's 0 outside, it's 10 in between the window, and it's 20 inside.
Yeah, and that's a good way to kind of
and
combat
you know it's
those old
working
windows.
if it doesn't steam up.
Yeah.
So if the window's not fogged up, you have a perfect seal.
Wow.
So there you go.
Oh, you did good.
Oh, thanks. I've done this
Sure.
before.
Several times before.
Well, actually, for a while, Heritage Canada and some of the heritage boards would hire me and send me all over the Maritimes, and I'd go and do lectures on
All right.
preservation, energy efficiency, all that kind of stuff, adaptive reuse. So I do what I love, and people wanted to hear.
Of course,
what I
these
had
are
to
the
say,
old
so-
sliding doors. We come all the way across to
Well,
close off
if
these
I can
rooms.
help somebody else, then it just
Absolutely stunning.
it magnifies my abilities, right? If I can help you do something right.
Now
So
we're on
this
to
house
the-
was built by Charles Richards, who was a pharmacist and the owner of Minard's Liniment Company. the New Burrell Iron Company. He founded Sunset Terrace, which was the old ladies' home. He was the director of the Yarmouth Hospital. And how did you one-up your neighbor in the Victorian era? You built your house of material that wasn't available here. So he took his shiploads with his brother-in-law, Augustus Can, to New England, full of miners' liniment, and brought them back with building material. So the brick is Boston baked enamel. The brownstone trimmings are New Hampshire. And the granite foundation is Vermont. And the interior is done in Pennsylvania cherry and Carolina oaks.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's incredible.
I was gonna say, because this is the only brick house that I know of.
There's only 2 in the province of
Yeah.
this class. The other one is Bread and Roses Inn in Annapolis Royal,
Okay.
built by another medical professional. But you can take a look at the veranda. The veranda
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
incredible. So the veranda was falling off the house when we bought it. And of course covered in lead paint and rotten everything, and the structure was in good shape, but the footings were gone and all that. So we completely restored it, and it took me 2 whole years to burn all the lead paint off of it.
Okay.
Then we put a whole new subsystem underneath it. And then it took me 32 weeks to paint it in 8 colors. And it's a 3-dimensional cross-section paint job. So
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
like all the inside of the wood is burnt yellow, and the color is applied to the surfaces. So it's 3-dimensional. We see flat images, but when this is uplit at night, the yellow takes on 3-dimensional
Yeah.
image.
I love walking by here at night.
Oh, it's
Probably
really
my
pretty
favorite
lit up,
time
isn't
in
it?
the summer. Oh yeah, and then you get all the canopy of the trees.
Yeah.
It's just it lights up absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The whole street, all these homes, from the filler house there to.
This is, I think, there's only a couple of verandas left in town like this.
And I remember seeing this as a kid when it was run down,
Uh-huh.
like completely run down. It looked haunted and
Not
scary.
anymore. I think this is locked. I just don't want you to film that. It's a mess.
That's okay.
So yeah, this is the term veranda means an outdoor summer room that takes you on a journey to nowhere. This one takes you on a journey to a conservatory. So we have a stained glass conservatory that we restored.
I've been in there.
Yeah,
You had a party when you first came
we've
down.
had lots of parties.
Yeah. I only went to one. I
Oh.
was busy.
I understand. No, in the beginning days, we would have a big bash every year.
Yeah.
It was fun. And it became the talk of the town, like,
Oh,
what
Yes.
did you get an invitation? And
Yeah.
they fondly referred to us as the boys. Did you get an invitation to the boys' party? And we did
Yeah.
these themed parties, so you had to come in costume, or the whole theme went with it. And one year for New Year's, you had to come as your favorite dead movie star or celebrity. And everybody came as dead movie stars and celebrities.
Yeah.
And even one guy came as Jesus Christ. It was hysterical.
I suppose you would classify him as a celebrity.
Yeah,
back
celebrity
in the
for some,
day.
I guess.
Yeah.
It was actually really fun. So we had about 150 people. We had a photographer taking pictures. We had bolts and bolts of fabric, so we draped all the doorways with all this drapery. And Neil and I went as Thurston and Lovey Howell. And we called the house Howell Manor.
wow.
So I'll open the door. You can take a look in, but just don't film because it's really a mess. But I'll open the door.
So all of these properties are protected
Yes.
in the Heritage Act. And anyone that owns one of these own homes can apply for that, and they do give out grant money to help with painting and work and of course knowledge, and they even help you find contacts like Michael that know what they're doing and what would have been appropriate back in the day. So really do appreciate Michael showing us around in his homes. And leave some comments, and if you love what you see, definitely hit the like button, leave a comment for him, and I'll pass it on.